The 28th day of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine. The city of Chernihiv, which protects the Ukrainian capital in the north, could become the second Mariupol. On March the 23rd, the Russian military dropped bombs on the only bridge through which residents were evacuated and humanitarian aid was delivered. Now Chernihiv has been cut off from the capital. The shell also damaged one of the city's enterprises, causing an ammonia leak. It is a colorless gas with a pungent odor dangerous to health. About 130,000 residents who could not leave the city are currently without heat and light. Access to drinking water is limited. One person can get no more than 10 liters. The civilian population is constantly shelled. Russians intimidate and threaten Chernihiv citizens with forcible deportation to Russia, said Human Rights Commissioner Lyudmila Denisova. According to local residents, the occupiers are compiling lists of civilians for the evacuation of Lvov, Kursk region in Russia. The racist cutting off Chernihiv from the capital turned its inhabitants into hostages. Chernihiv has been holding back Russian troops since the first day of the war and is blocking the invasion of Kiev, Russia's #1 target. 70% of Chernihiv suburbs, where a large number of enemy troops are located, have been completely destroyed. The occupiers have once again shelled Kiev with grenades. Destruction occurred in Shevchenkivsky and Svatoshin city districts. Private houses, garages and high-rise buildings caught fire and were destroyed. A warehouse was also on fire. Firefighters managed to put out the fire. 4 people were injured. In the evening of March 23rd, the enemy fired mortar shells at another residential area in Kiev, Podil. The number of victims is still unknown. Also, the parking lot of the shopping center of Podilsky district came under enemy fire. 1 person died, 2 victims were hospitalized, Kiev city mayor said. Ukrainian rescuers have to work in extremely dangerous conditions. They constantly pull people out of rubble and put out fires. Here is one of the cases in Kiev. Since February the 24th, Russian military have destroyed and damaged more than 70 buildings in Kiev. The invaders have not stopped shelling Luhansk region yet. In the town of Rubizhne, an enemy shell hit a high-rise building. 3 people died, 2 of them were children. In addition, the city was hit with the missiles and phosphorus bombs during the night. The latter ones are forbidden by the international law. At least 4 people were killed. In the city of Trostanets in Sumy region, near the Russian border and under the control of the Russian military, women are forced to give birth at home. At first, orcs, Russians, forbade ambulances to go on calls and visit patients and then stole hospital cars. So, mothers are unable to get to the hospital, which is also being shelled by the Russian military. Russia wants to make Ukraine Novorossiya. The Security Service of Ukraine has detained agitators spreading separatist appeals and ideas of Ruski Mir. Traitors were caught in Kiev and Odessa. Today, many cities are temporarily occupied by the Russian army in the south of Ukraine, and Russian propaganda is very active there. In Kherson, the Russists could soon put counterfeit rubles into circulation to pay the collaborators they are trying to negotiate with. Nevertheless, residents of the temporarily occupied cities of Kherson, Skadovsk, Kakhovka and Energodar are constantly going to peaceful rallies and waving Ukrainian flags in the faces of the occupiers. And the citizens of Energodar, home to Europe's largest nuclear power plant, fearlessly tore down and burned the red rag that the occupiers hung as a flag and a sign of their dominance in the city. Forests are burning in the Chernobyl zone. The fires could have started due to the shelling of Chernobyl nuclear power plant territory or because of arson. Most fires have been localized, but small burning areas remain. Rescuers' access there is limited due to active hostilities. Firefighters were trying to extinguish wildfires near Chernobyl nuclear power plant, Ukraine. Slight increases in cesium air concentrations detected in Kyiv and at 2 nuclear power plants, but they did not pose significant radiological concerns, it said. Due to this, accurate radiation measurements in the exclusion zone are not currently performed. Chernobyl nuclear power plant remains under control of the occupiers, who have destroyed the newest laboratory that provided information on the state of the plant's nuclear waste. The occupiers destroyed the art museum in Mariupol. It seems that the Russian military regarded the building as another military facility like the maternity hospital and drama theater. The occupiers claim that they are only targeting military objects. Arkhip Kuindzhi museum had more than 2,000 exhibits, including original paintings by world-known artists like Ivan Aivazovsky and Tetiana Yablonska. Mariupol is a port city, the hottest spot on the military map of Ukraine now, caught up in a humanitarian catastrophe. The enemy is carrying carpet bombs. Residents of Mariupol are forced to bury the dead right in the middle of the city on the playgrounds. Out of the 6 buildings of the city hospital, only 1 remained. Doctors are forced to provide medical care to the wounded in basements. The only source of light there are candles. Just at the same time, the enemy continues to level Mariupol to the ground.
Where can you find a safe place if your city is under siege? Is it an usual residential building? No. In hospitals or schools? No. In a theater, the heart of your city. Far away from any military objects. Yes, that's a good idea. Is there any other way we could warn Russian pilots about kids hiding in the theater? Yes, capital letters, in Russian. That way we will definitely be safe. But only if murdering our children isn't their goal.